Hi there, welcome back to Leading Our Own Way. We're up to part 4 with Ashley. In our previous episode with Ashley, though, we began exploring her journey into healing modalities. Today, we witness a powerful transformation as Ashley reveals how energy work and somatic healing became her pathway, not just to recovery, but to helping others. This part of Ashley's story particularly moves me because it shows how different roads to healing can lead to equally powerful destinations. While my journey led to creating this platform, Leading Our Own Way podcast and the book How to Live with Purpose, Ashley's led her to becoming a healer herself. Join us as we discover how trauma can become a teacher, showing us our true calling. Here's Ashley. Yeah. So, okay then. So can you walk us through how that, because you got recruited, right, for that particular role. Can you talk us through that recruitment then, and then how the workplace dynamics shifted from being recruited, but specifically for a role to experience such, I suppose, intense bullying?
Yeah, so I got recruited from my previous boss at another role that I had. And I actually had moved to California for a short 2 months, thinking that, oh, I'm done with New York,
Mm.
after that previous role. Um, I was in a situation where I was like, okay, what next? Like, I think that I'm just going to get out of corporate America. But she then phoned me and was like, I have this role for you. It would be perfect. It's going to be catered to you, everything that you've desired, training the teams and traveling, and you can travel back to California at any point. I'm like, oh, great. Wow, this sounds amazing. So I went back to New York.
So you're in New York, you go all the way back to California, and then back to New York again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So went back to New York. And which, funny enough, like I had come to California and I had enrolled in a yoga facilitator training. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll become a yoga instructor. And I got all the books and everything. And then she called me up. So I don't know. I guess universe was like, yeah, we're gonna do that. And then no, you need to experience this hardcore trauma first, and then we'll push you
You
back.
better be a better yoga teacher now for it all.
So right. So went back to New York, took the role. It was amazing. I took that role in 2018. So 2018 took the role. It was amazing. 2020, obviously we know COVID hit, and that's kind of where a lot of the light was shown on
Yeah.
just all the darkness,
Yeah.
all the shit. And things shifted in that way because I think that in those moments you really got to see people's personalities and how they handled certain things. And that's when I really realized my values and beliefs weren't in line with some of the higher ups in the corporate office that I was working with
Yeah.
or working for. I was very close to my boss. We were friends. And so that was another maybe
Hit.
not a great thing, like foresight on my end, but we were good friends. Like she would come to family parties, like we were pretty close. There was another girl that we were close with as well, and I do remember my mom saying when there's a group of three girls, oh, one is always going to be like left out. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, mom.
Yeah, no, I know, and I got told that same thing as well. How long had you been in America, back in New York, then, before you noticed this starting to go south? So I'm going to sneeze.
Oh my, bless you. I would say,
I'm not going to sneeze now.
bless you.
There we go.
There
Sorry,
you go.
go.
I think it was like 2 years.
Yeah, that's quite a
Yeah.
long time, isn't it? You're back in the you're back in the routine of things. You've got a good relationship, and you think everything is embedded, then, don't you? And when you are, that's the point I want to touch on first. When you are, because I was not friends with my leader, but I think because I'm a talkative person, and my leader, not the person who bullied me, but the leader above them, they were going through a really tough time in their life, and me just being me just likes to make people feel okay and happy, and I just talk to them and give them space, and but obviously there's a form of friendship. Not that we'd go out to lunch and dinner or anything together, but a friendship would be formed, and people can get jealous of it. So is that kind of what happened with you? You that third person's in, or that other girl. When you've got that relationship, did jealousy hit the scene?
I think it was that. And then I think it was like I was friends with my boss before and I knew so much information that, of course, like I would never tell anyone. Like that's just who I am as a friend. But maybe
Yeah.
she didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe she was betrayed in past a past time too.
Mm.
Um, so hard to say on that, but like, yeah, I think that there came a moment where there was like a push and pull with, oh, she's hanging out with her and not me. And
Yeah.
so I think there was a bit of jealousy and then also like a bit of worry, like, oh, is Ashley going to spill all the beans or say, or sabotage my role in my job? And that's the thing is like that's never any of my intent or any of my intentions, but I mean there's people out there that do that do sabotage. And I don't know if you want me to already mention this.
Mm.
She realized that after the fact. So she realized I wasn't the one that would sabotage and she had trusted the wrong people. And that's when that apology came.
Yeah. And we will get into that. But before we do, what was some of the traits, some of the things that you experience of being bullied then? Because I think what I want from here is, if people are going through it and are people listening, because, at the same time, I don't want this to be known as, because my journey did start from bullying. I don't want this to be like a bully podcast. It's about how people lead their way, and it doesn't matter what journey they've had. But obviously this episode is around some of these things. For those who are being bullied, because what I've realized through my journey, and you may have done too, through your healing practices, there's so many people being bullied in the workplace. Some don't even know it. Some do and don't know how to navigate it. They don't even recognize some of the traits as being bullied. What were some of the things? So if anyone was listening now to this and they're struggling with it, what were some of the traits that you were experiencing of bullying then?
Yeah, so she used to empower me and like, this is your role, make it how it fits to you. I trust you and you can run that whole department, right?
Yeah.
It's shifted from that to now I need to see all of your work. I need to, like, it was like now a distrust, right? She would have the HR manager, which is still like doesn't make sense in an HR role. She would have the HR manager come to my trainings because I was a trainer. Like I would train on product and brand knowledge. She would have her come and sit in them just to like watch me, like how I was training and how I was, saying all the material and kind of reporting back. And then I ended up getting written up as well for just like the weirdest things. I got written up for dress code, which like I can laugh about it now, but I got written up for dress code and
Meaning you weren't dressing appropriately.
I wasn't dressing appropriately. So when I
what were you wearing?
Yeah, I had inquired. So that's like, is that actual or write up? And so I guess you can get written up for 3 times and then that's when you're fired or whatnot. So
that's
she
what
was
she's aiming for, isn't she?
She was. So there was that instance. And then when I had inquired, like, okay, so then what should I be wearing? Like they had no answer. Oh, just dress professional. Like there was no
clear.
There was no clear guidance in then what I should be doing or what I should be. Yeah, I would always ask for feedback and things like that. And it was always very gray or always just like, oh, well, you should be doing this. And then I would ask questions before, like, oh, do you want me to do it this way or that? And she wouldn't have an answer. And then when I finally took the lead and like did things, then she'd be like, oh, but I don't want it that way. Like it's typical. But I had already inquired and asked. So I think that's like another huge way of bullying, of like them just wanting to find ways. And then like the last straw was I was out of town and they did like an inventory check. One of my coworkers had mentioned, oh, they're doing an inventory check, but we just did inventory. Like, that's weird. I'm like, well, they're trying to, I knew at that point she was trying to like pinpoint me for something. I was like, well, I think this is my time to go. And sure enough, I came in on Monday and that's when I was let go.
So what was the reason for letting you go then?
So they said that I had taken product and I was using it to my benefit. But as a trainer, I had product with me, like I would travel with it, and there was no such contract or agreement in line that I couldn't take the product or anything like that. Like they never had any of those boundaries in line. So, and she knew, like, we would travel together and I would have it in my suitcase. I'm like, okay, I have this scarf and I have this bag and la la. She's like, oh yeah, la la la. So then when
Mm.
it came time to find something to fire me for, that was the case.
Because on those trips, if that was an issue, she should have been saying, "Oh, just so you know, you shouldn't be taking that. Like
Right. Or you need to sign it out or like
yeah,
follow a certain rule and regulation, but there was none of that put in place. So I was
yeah,
just doing my job. So again, like they came and said I was using product to my benefit and using these items. And so when she presented that to me, she's like, "Do you have anything to say?" And I said, "No." Like, because I wanted to leave. So I was like, "No." And she was surprised. She's like, "Oh, you don't like," she thought I was going to fight back. And I'm like, "No, why?"
Mm. I mean, I'm wondering. Well, that would have made her life harder. Why would she want you to fight back?
I don't know. Or I don't know if she was expecting me to then sue or whatever, because I probably could have. I mean, people are sue happy in the US, but
Yes, yeah.
I probably could have taken legal action. But at that point, number one, I wanted to leave and I just didn't want to exude or use any energy towards that. Like it was just so negative and bad to me that I'm like, I want nothing to do with this place, this situation.
Mm.
I'm out.
Never sit down and lash anything out with her during that time of being bullied? Did you ever ask questions? Hey, what's going on here? Why has this changed so much? I've had 2 amazing years with you, and what's going on?
Yeah. No. I think we did have a call previous to me getting let go. We did have a call where we did have a little bit of a heart to heart, so I thought that, things were changing, but yeah, it ultimately no. We didn't have a conversation at that
Yeah.
moment because at this point she had gotten promoted and had moved to Paris. So
Oh.
she wasn't even in the office and we did like a Zoom call, let
Wow.
go.
Oh, geez. Oh, it's an easy escape for her, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So gaslighted. I didn't know the term gaslighted. I was 32 when I was being bullied. I never heard of the term gaslighted. I was like, what the hell is that? And obviously, I very much know what gaslighted is. And I've been gaslighted since. I wouldn't say I've been bullied. I've entered another toxic work situation for a while, but I was gaslighted, but I wasn't say I was bullied. It was just that type of leader.
Mhm.
Were you gaslighted in that place?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. What type of
And so that
things?
that really plays a big
Mental.
toll in
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
just your entire life, like your entire stride and willpower, like it really crushes you. And I don't think I realized it at the time because your emotions arise and I'm like, oh, I was like so mad and I was like, oh, well, I don't need this place, like F you guys and like whatever. And then I went to Bali and was like doing all this work. I would say it took me years to get where I am at now of like really working toward like through again we had those words in the beginning,
Mm.
betrayal and rejection, like that was two big wounds for me that she literally like poked all the way. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
It's it's part of me feels like I'd rather have just been punched a few times because at least I would have known where I
Yes.
stood with somebody. You know what I mean? Like if you don't like me, make it obvious. Punch me and we'll talk it out or I'll punch you back and we'll then make it up. I'm not agreeing violence is the way, by the way, but I feel like if I just knew where I stood would be an easier way of handling things. But when these mental games are being played, it just tears you apart because then you really go into a deep space and go, well, is it me? Because I know I did. I was like, it must be me because this isn't happening to anybody else. No one else is seeing it. So I'm actually imagining this.
Hmm.
So then that's when you start to doubt yourself and go, no, it's me. It's 100% me because my head's telling me, because something would happen to me. Something would be said about a meeting or eyes rolling, whatever. Nobody would see it. And they'd be like, I'd look around and go, did nobody just see that?
Yeah.
And then they're lovely to me in front of other people. They're amazing, beautiful. Like, I just don't want to ever be on my own. I'm just going to stay where there's people. But that's really hard to do, isn't it?
It is. And I think, especially with the situation that I was in, it was very like back and forth of this person is my friend. I do know a lot of information. And I think that again, like that's what really was different for me in that relationship. She was no longer just a boss. Like, and I think other people knew that we were kind of friends. So it was almost like she had to put on a show as well, like to then regain that power and regain that dominance of like, no, like, doesn't matter if anyone's my friend, like they are getting fired or getting let go. And like, yes, if it was rightfully so, sure. But again, she knows it was wrong. It was wrong.
Yeah.
And
because you mentioned before you were very close. What were some of the things that you both did in life, whether it was a workplace or personally, because you said that you went to family events? What sort of things can you tell us to just paint a picture of how close you really were?
Yeah, so I would actually also babysit her child when she would go on work trips. I would stay at her apartment. So yeah, I had keys to her apartment. I would stay there, and then she also came to my nephew's birthday. She has met my family. She stayed at my family's house when we had work. Yeah. We yeah. I mean, there's a number, and we also would go to dinner, drinks, all that fun stuff too.
So with all doing that, then did it cause any issues outside of you and her? Did it cause any other issues inside the workplace, in jealousy or even just other staff members?
I think that with other staff members, like I think she was paranoid that people would find out how close we were, and that
Don't do it as a boss then. If you're paranoid, just don't do it.
Right. So, and the thing is like we then later had the conversation of, she thought that she could separate the two, but she couldn't. So
most people can't.
Right. So there is a major thing with separating.
What did she? So she must have done things to you in front of people to make that crystal clear to them, but also to herself. What type of things did she do? Did she take things away from you in the workplace? Join us tomorrow to hear more from today's incredible guests and learn valuable insights to help you lead your own way. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you then.